Hello and welcome, folks, back to Diamondback Shooting Sports. I am Sean, and today we have another segment of our staff show and tell, where we introduce you to the faces that work here at Diamondback and also the stuff they find really cool from their personal collections. So today, up from downstairs on our retail sales floor, we have Cody, and Cody has brought us a very cool vintage piece today that is still a very functional firearm. We have an 1866 model Winchester 30-30. Now, Cody, how'd you come across this firearm?
Yeah, my buddy needed cash, and he was like, I could use $600 right now. Do you want this lever action? And I was like, are you kidding? And he was like, no. I was like, okay, I don't have that money, but I will scrounge it up together because I know you need help, and I want it. In fact, he's called me twice asking me if I want to sell it back to him, and the answer's been no. It's going to be no.
You gotta wait a little longer, man. You don't need $600 that back.
No.
That bad either. So, working from the back to the front here, we have Woodstock Classic. What type of wood is this? Walnut?
Yes, I want to say it's walnut.
It is absolutely beautiful, given the fact that you can tell up close that you shoot this gun, but it is not really marred up, beat up, dings knocked out of the finish, even though it is from 1966. So it's been shot, but apparently shot very cautiously and with care.
Correct. When I got it, I cleaned it up. Funny enough, this is actually my secondary hunting rifle. When I'm out and all of the brush is flat and there's too much bushes, so my scope won't do me any favors, actually this is my secondary gun that I run.
And it's a classic American West firearm. I mean, for decades, folks went out and hunted with this very firearm, but also defended themselves. And correct me if I'm wrong here, we did see lever action 30-30s in limited adoption throughout the years by the United States military, just kind of little bits here and there.
Yeah, so it started during the Civil War, very, very limited. And then actually you see a lot of its use later in the Native American wars. Again, limited because we were using the Sharps. Sharp is a lot cheaper to make. Most of it, though, is civilian market. You see a lot of it more in like Old West stories than you do in actual military use.
And that's the myth of the gun, especially being out here in Tucson, Arizona, where we kind of see the closing days of the Old West. Once the railroads had really gotten through here, modernization takes effect. We're going to call that about the turn of the century. We start to see, shifts in what people are buying firearms-wise. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, back in the day, you could probably buy this model from like a Sears catalog.
Correct.
And this is a Winchester Special Edition. The thing that jumps out, man, is this beautiful brass frame. Did they make this with a color case hardened steel frame at all, or were all these 1866s done up in brass?
They did do color cast. I believe it was more expensive than the brass, so the look was brass. The other thing to point out too is the octagon barrel. When people are looking for them now, the two things they're looking for are the brass casing and the octagon barrel. That's kind of the classic look that everyone's looking for.
And this octagon barrel, this is no joke. This is a very hefty piece of steel here. I mean, we would call that, what in today's parlance, almost a heavy barrel?
Yeah, I'd consider that. It makes the weight of the rifle feel correct. I think if it was too light, you'd probably have a lot more recoil. And this thing, yeah, it has some, but it's not crazy.
And 30-30 is, in my opinion, one of the most pleasant, fun cartridges to shoot. Many years ago, I owned a cheap Ranger 30-30. I believe they were made by Winchester, but they were sold under Sears as an inexpensive firearm you could just buy in their sporting goods section. But what I loved about 30-30 was even with these very kind of simple, austere iron sights, I felt like I could hit anything.
I can hit steel at 230 yards.
And just a good feeling. The firearm, the cartridge, tricks your mind into being like, no, we're a good shooter. But if you're hitting what you're aiming at, in that instance, you're a good shooter. Well, Cody, this is a really cool piece, man, and something that our viewers at home could look at, say they love those historical collectible firearms, say they're interested in going out and hunting. You do both with this.
I do.
And that is super cool, man. Well, do you have anything else for us on this gun before we get into your comparing of the ammunition?
Yeah, the only thing I have to add is you can't get this exact one, but you can get something very close to it, probably mostly off our website. We don't get a lot of these in the store. When we do, they go quickly, but you can absolutely find one of these on our website or something very, very close.
Heck yes. So we have a very large cartridge here, and then we have the good old, 30-30 Winchester. What's the difference? Why do you like one versus the other? Do you like them both equally for different things? Talk about your preferences here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 300 PRC, we talked about that rifle. It's big. It's going to drop what it hits, right? Mostly round-wise, it's mostly about the use of the firearm. 300 PRC has a scope. It's better for long range or change in elevation. The 30-30 is better when everything's flat. There's too many bushes to actually use a scope, and that's what I'm using. Most of the time with my hunting preferences, it's what I have, not as much as I believe this is better than the other.
Well, that's a fair assessment, though, too, because the best firearm you have for the task is the one that you have.
Correct.
Let's talk about effective range on the 30-30 versus the 300 here. So this, of course, not scope equipped. You said when you're going through brushwork, things like that, we've heard that phrase brush gun, and I'm assuming that's the exact reason
Yes.
That we're using that terminology. But what do you get in maximum accurate effective ranges with 30-30 versus your PRC 300?
Absolutely. So the 30-30, you're an effective range, you're probably looking at, it's probably effective at 300, but you're probably not going to be able to see 300. So more than often not, you're effective at 250 max. The 300 PRC is a PRC. It is a precision round. So out of a good firearm, you can push out to over a mile. A lot of people are using them for bench rifles to push out as far as they can. So your effective range is going to be much, much further than the 30-30.
And kind of finally here, let's talk about the game sizes. So if I am new to the world of proper outdoor sporting rifles that I want to go out, I want to hunt with, what type of animals is 30-30 going to be best effective with and down? And then our 300 PRC, what animals are those and up? Yeah,
absolutely. So the 30-30, you are probably going to top out at elk. There are going to be people that argue that it's going to be too small for elk. It is about shot placement, but you're going to top out there. Again, it's going to be in close quarters with brush. That's why I have the round.
Give me a ballpark on pound on that animal, though. Size and pound.
Elk probably top out at about 1,000 pounds-ish, okay. And that's a big one, right? So it's probably effective up to like 800 pounds, a decent sized elk.
So 1,000 would be very wishful thinking and just not realistic for this chamber.
Correct.
And 300?
Yeah, so you're going to be able to take down an elk easily. Again, those bigger elk topping out at 1,000 pounds, you're not going to have any problems with. You're probably going to be good with moose. Moose top out even higher. Call it 12 to be conservative. You're going to be fine. Basically, anything over that, bear, you're good there. Anything over that, you're going to need an elephant round, and it's going to be a lot bigger than that is.
Interesting. Well, that is really important, staple information that somebody would really want rattling around in their heads when choosing the right caliber for themselves and what's in their environment. Where are they hunting? What's out there? What do you have tags for? Yada, yada. But that being said, man, thank you so much for that explanation. And if you don't have anything else on the firearm or the cartridges, I'd say we're good for today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming out, man, and we will see you again.